Welcome to episode 49 of the American Fitbaw Cast. Week 2 is in the bag. We are back again to talk some more American football. I am joined as ever with my two partners in crime. Gav, how are you?
Well, sir. You?
Well, sir. Well, sir. Andrew?
Yeah, I'll read.
Gav didn't get the wear red memo today.
Oh, shit.
This is virgin on pink though, is it not? It's maybe just washed out red.
Yeah, washed out red. I'll take it. It's old. Not as old as me though. Right, on with... before we get into our usual stuff, I've got a question for you.
Ooh,
so
spicy.
Aaron Rodgers, in your world, the GOAT, Gav? Yes?
Yep.
Has a career passer rating of 103 and change.
Yep.
Albeit, yes, there's 2 weeks of the season gone, so it's a small limited. How many quarterbacks are already ahead of that for the 2 games combined? What do you think?
I've got one on my screen in front of me of Gardner Minshew. He's ahead. So this just in the first 2 games of the season?
Yes.
Wait, are you saying Rodgers all time is 103?
Yeah. So his is a career.
Okay,
but
so
if we
right
take that as the benchmark of excellence, because no one else has done as good as him
Okay.
consistently.
Okay.
In the 2 games this
I'll
season, how
say
many are ahead?
6.
7.
6. I counted it and I forgot because I was talking 103. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's about 11. There's loads already that are way over that 103 combined.
Yeah, I guess the huge caveat is that's 2 weeks versus how long.
Yeah, see how many of them keep it going. But Lamar Jackson is topping the tree at the
He's
minute,
up.
which is no surprise.
Yep, he's
considering
on a great
week 1
season.
he had a perfect rating.
Yep.
But he's backed that up, which is
Yep.
actually really telling.
Yep.
It looks like he's not a one-trick pony anymore, which is huge for Baltimore.
Do you mean they've got a quarterback that can throw the ball?
Was
It's
it-
a useful thing?
What was it? He wasn't a one-trick pony, or they didn't have the pieces round about him to make him.
Well, Hollywood Brown single-handedly almost seems to have changed that offense.
Because they didn't have a deep threat last year. Their best wide
No.
receiver was Willie Snead.
Yeah, who for some he wasn't on point last season. Crabtree and Brown
And
just didn't quite. When Crabtree doesn't have much speed left anyway, but so you've got Jackson. Technically RG3's in there, but I probably wouldn't count him because he wasn't a starter when he came in relief. He's got 144. Dak Prescott is balling out something crazy, 142. Pat Mahomes 136. On it goes. It's pretty ridiculous. Rodgers himself though is not at his career average.
Who's
yet.
played the Bears and the Vikings.
Two
Which
on
is
paper solid ass defenses.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that to go. So that'll be interesting to see how things are going.
How many of these teams played the
Oh
Dolphins?
no, one and who did the
Brady.
Dolphins play this week?
Brady.
Oh god, yeah, he's on that list. No surprise. And next week it'll be Dak, so he will probably make his even better.
Is it
He may
possible
jump
to have a 300 passer rating?
actually, on that, you know how you live in betting circles. Talk about a spread, points spread. The Cowboys Dolphins game this weekend has the largest ever spread in history.
What is it?
On,
Do you remember?
I want to say plus 21. This is the American system though, rather than ours.
Yep.
I think there's only been 2 other games that's had a 20-point or more spread.
That's crazy.
Both never converted.
So for those that don't understand what a spread is basically where is it an even money bet for. So the even money bet is that the Cowboys are going to win by 21 points.
Yeah.
Which is really likely.
Yeah. Well, did you not say that New England's
You could have got
yours was plus
could have
31?
got 3-1 on them or thereabouts for them to win by 31 points.
Like
last
31
week,
points,
which-
and that would they coasted it. It was 43-0, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So,
and they definitely took the feet off the gas in this
Oh,
game. Big time.
I was surprised they were going as slow as they were. Every time the scores came up, and I was like, "What's going on down in Miami?"
they actually seemed to they scored a lot quite late in the game. But
well, 2
even
pick sixes.
so-
Was there not 2 pick sixes?
of course
really
it was
quickly,
2
and that's
defensive touchdowns.
and that's what turned it around very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah.
So Miami are easily the worst in the division.
Like-
They've gone and cleaned house again. Who? Minka Fitzpatrick.
who I really like. I think
Yeah.
he was the only good
He's
player
the
left.
He was the best player left in the roster.
Yep.
He's the first overall pick from last year, and they've shipped him off after 1 season.
Was it 2 years ago?
No, 2018 draft.
was it
Yeah,
Was
this is just the second year. So, do you so he's gone to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They gave up their first round pick next year, along with some switching of lower round picks, both next year and the year after. Do you like that move from the Steelers?
I guess if they had Big Ben, yes, because they were leaking touchdowns.
So, in my view, that wasn't the biggest weakness in their defense.
Okay.
And Big Ben is.
Who could you have got?
Big Ben is 37.
Uh-huh.
You look at the start they've had to the season, it looks like they could have a top 8 pick, maybe, there or thereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
So they're essentially giving up a top 8 pick for Minka Fitzpatrick. That is an elite player out of next year's draft.
Yeah.
So Big Ben's 37. He's already ruled out for the rest of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mason Rudolph their guy? Probably not. So they're giving up their chance to take one of what is supposedly an elite quarterback class next year.
You're not going to get one of these quarterbacks out of the top 5.
Yeah, but if you've got a top 8 pick, you
You're-
can
yeah,
very
it's
easily
easy
go
to
to
jump
the top
in.
5.
Which
Yeah.
Whereas
costs
now
you
they're
how
just
much? Costs you
but
how much though?
now they've just totally ruled themselves out of that.
I'm not as worried about that. I think that free agency will be where the Steelers will go because enough of their team is ready to go. Their offensive line is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So they can put pretty much anyone behind there and they will be serviceable. And I think that regardless who it was, we've seen that nobody jumped up for anyone in the quarterbacks this year because it's getting more and more expensive. So I think teams are just accepting we can't get that player.
So Steelers draft next year, they've got 1 pick in the top 110 because they gave up
That's
for.
third to jump up this year as well.
I get your point, but I just don't think that they would have had the capital to do it anyway. So,
And
interesting.
they're on the road to San Fran this week. So
Whose front 7 is really good.
causing havoc, and they really turned it on this week. That could be them sitting at 0-3 after 3 weeks, which is a hell of a start for. So my sneaky outside bold Tomlin might go mid-season, or do you think there's too much
That's
against
his
them?
excuse
Maybe okay.
sorted.
Yeah, we've not got Big Ben. Yeah, well.
One positive fact for any Steelers fan is that Mason Rudolph and James Washington went to the same college together, so they'll already have a rapport.
Good
So he's someone to watch out for over the next couple of weeks. That's my fun fact.
fantasy pick.
No, I'm giving up on fantasy.
So on with the usual format, we've got 3 games we're going to go a little bit more in depth on, and then we'll go through 3 players that deserve a call out this week. Will we start, Andrew, with the 6 o'clock Sunday game as normal? Seeing as the one I always watch in full anyway, but you're going to take the reins on this one, weren't you?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers, which finished up as a Packers win by 21-16.
However, very strange in how the scoring went.
Yeah, so there was no scoring in the fourth quarter at all from either team. So the Packers were 21-0 up early in the second quarter, 21-10 half time. Vikings scored a nice long touchdown in the third quarter, but Stephon Diggs removed his helmet while celebrating, which just
stupid.
all he did was push the extra point attempt back, which was then missed, so cost his team a point there. Daft, absolutely crazy. But the reason I want to speak about this is actually because the Packers have started with 2 divisional games. They've played the Bears and then the Vikings. They've come out of that 2-0, and they're looking like a decent bet for that division now.
You could put it in the chat, or either at work one or at home, not sure. Just watch out rest of the NFC. They seem to really throw themselves right in the mix from having. You didn't know whether it was going to be a 1-year rebuild, inverted commas. You've always got a chance with Rodgers, but it's the turnaround in the defense that's been huge.
They made 2, I think we already spoke about it, but 2 fantastic pickups in Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, who are just lighting teams up.
Yep.
They're getting more production out of them than they did out of Clay Matthews. So yeah, I think that
Adrian Amos was a huge pickup.
yeah, he was.
as well.
He's done really well. So yeah, I think that they identified what their issue was and just went all in on it. And previously, we spoke again before about it. Packers were through the draft, nurture players, whereas now A bit
Brendan
more
Gudenkeist, is it pronounced? Yeah.
Yeah, since they changed the GM, different strategy. It's more
it's aggressive. I think they realise that they're in win now with Rodgers. They should be
I
win now.
think so. How old is he? 30? Is he 6 yet, or is he?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah,
6. Yeah. So
he's still got a couple of years, but the window is getting smaller.
It's not 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's
they need to be giving him the pieces every year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
To try.
Go all in the next 3-4 seasons, and then just hope see how many rings.
It is a travesty that the Packers have had Rodgers and Favre before that, and have come away with 2 Super Bowls in that time.
1 ring.
And I think that goes down to strategy from the GM, right?
Yeah.
So they've hindered probably both their capabilities to be successful by almost being too patient with their strategy, and I guess there's a credit to that, but there's also a where's the reaction to it when it's not working. So, but we're seeing that now, and I think they're not far off being right back in the Super Bowls for me.
So Rodgers, he was at 22 from 34 attempts, 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. Compared to Kirk Cousins on the other side, 32 attempts, only 14 completions, 230 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. As a Redskins fan, how do those numbers make you feel?
So, I'm going to speak about him later, but I can do it now, I guess. His decision making is dreadful. I don't know if you remember the play into, I think it was the right hand side of the end zone, where he threw into triple coverage.
Yeah. And it was picked off.
Yeah. Triple coverage.
Right,
You're like, you know what, Diggs and Thielen are great receivers, right? But Jesus, what were you thinking? Throughout the game, I think he looks hesitant. It was the same with the Redskins. He's terrible on the road. He's not a good road quarterback. He's not good when he's under pressure. He's not good when you have to fight back. So unless you get off to a really good start, you're in trouble with him. He's not.
Is he worth his 84 million?
I guess in today's market, probably, right?
I suppose I see.
So now that it's reset again, yes. At the time, no. Would I have? Obviously, I probably would have rathered him at the Redskins still, rather than the deal we gave Alex Smith.
Yeah.
But it was just.
That's just unfortunate because Smith goes.
But again,
you don't know what would have been.
Yes.
If Smith had stayed fit, you would have Alex Smith.
Probably.
But it's not for me. I don't think he's the person to take the Vikings to the next level, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them do like what the Ravens did and draft a quarterback whilst you've still got someone who is serviceable in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So unlucky if you're a Vikings fan. Enjoy that. Cousins of misery.
While we're on this game, that was one of the 3 games that we had winning our predictions. So we'll
How did that work out?
Ever so quickly. Oh, well, funny you asked that, Gab.
Well, I think we should discuss that when we come to discuss next week's predictions.
Okay. You sure?
Yes.
Right, okay, right. Well, hold on for 10-15 more minutes. Get there. Gavatron, what game were you going to focus on?
So I was going to focus in on the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Giants in a game for the Bronx. I know that MetLife Stadium is in New Jersey, for anyone that wants to be a dick.
We know what you mean.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. The reason I wanted to talk about this is you both already know, and any listener will know that I was quite positive about Josh Allen, and I think we're starting to see the Bills getting more out of him, and he's already taken a bit of a progression. He's looking more accurate, he's got better wide receivers, he's still got that dual threat, so it makes it difficult for teams to defend against. I think when they added Cole Beasley and John Brown, they made his life so much easier because John Brown can stretch the field and Cole Beasley's got one of the safest pair of hands in the league. So Allen's potential worries of inaccuracy, they've sort of addressed that by giving him sort of 2, probably wide receiver 2s rather than wide receiver 1s, right? Mm-hmm. But giving him 2 good players, that takes a lot of pressure off of him. They upgraded the O-line, and then they've done a really good job in the defence as well. Ed Oliver is looking like a bit of a game wrecker. Bit of a game wrecker. But I guess the reason I wanted to talk about this game was from a Giants perspective. They look in trouble, right? So not just from the Eli Manning situation, their defence is dreadful. absolutely dreadful. They did get a sack on Allen, but I think that was more him taking too long in the pocket rather than it was a good pass rush. Can you name anyone in the Giants defence?
Any more? No.
So there you go, right?
They've had a couple of superstars over the last sort of 5, 6, 7 years. They've always had somebody, but they're just a bunch of guys at the minute.
And it's not a team where you can go, at least they've got loads of draft picks, because they don't. So they don't have capital.
I can't remember his name, but there was a sixth round draft pick that was fighting and eventually started week 1 at cornerback.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what his name is, but I mean that's the kind of level of I can't even know what I'm trying to say.
Mediocrity.
Yeah. So people who traditionally shouldn't make the team on week 1 are able
stars.
to make it, and yes, he's earned the job and he deserves it. So that's not taking that away from him. However, you take him to another team where they're really deep on cornerback. Like, let's just go back to the Vikings. Would he have made the Vikings starter in week 1?
Absolutely
No chance,
not.
right? So he's in a good situation to help him there as well.
So yeah, it just looks really messy in New York for me, and I really worry about Pat Shurmur. I think he's going to be on a sticky wicket.
Has he made the right decision to move on from Eli now? Is it a case of all the eggs are going in one basket because he knows if he carries on the way he's going, he's in trouble?
I think he had to.
He's basically
forced.
So Eli had 2 interceptions in this game. He got sacked and loads of inaccurate throws. I don't have the numbers.
Is that the last time we see him?
Yeah.
You think they'll just
unless
Jones completely bombs?
No, unless he gets injured. I think the only scenario we see Eli back is if he gets injured. Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's going to be really difficult for the Giants. Daniel Jones he's got Saquon, right, which is great. Can relieve a lot of pressure, but he has nothing else.
I still feel they need to use him more. I don't
even know if they can.
Enough.
Make him play quarterback too.
Oh no, but I was mean like so I dropped in the chat after the first 8 minutes of game time. He already had 60 yards and a touchdown. It was like lunacy. He had about 6 carries by then. Deep into the third quarter, fourth quarter, he'd still not even got to double digits. It just don't know what happened.
I guess
so from not feeding him the ball.
Yeah.
The other thing though, from what I seen was I think the Bills, when they got ahead, started to change their defense to say, okay, beat us through there. And you've seen a lot of terrible throws from Eli that were just.
To be fair, that should be the tactic at the start when playing the Giants, should it not? Because their big threat is Saquon.
Sure.
Take him out of the game.
Yeah, fill the box, stop him running.
We've already established that NFL coaches don't do the obvious thing.
Yeah. It's 100% what's going to happen for the next 14 weeks of the season.
Jones under so much pressure and close the box, make him throw it. Yeah. He's got nobody to throw it to either.
Sterling Shepard and no one else.
Shepard is injured, I think.
He's injured
tight end.
Evan Ingram.
He's okay.
Golden Tate comes back in week 5.
4 games suspension, so week 5
so
he's back. Yeah.
He'll have a bit of game rust, right? Don't know how much of a connection rapport he'll have with Jones, so I really worry about them.
It was only pre-season, but Jones did display quite a lot of poise in the pocket. He was okay, far better than anyone gave him credit for, because he got slated when he got picked. And I remember sending you his chats in May and June at rookie camps when he's like, Daniel Jones' first 7 passes, miss, interception, miss.
Yeah.
He was getting slated, but he turned up in August, so there's a wee bit of hope. There.
I guess the only final thing I wanted to end this game on is Frank Gore still lives and breathes running back football, because he got, I think it was 69 yards and a touchdown in a rotational back situation with Singletary. So Frank Gore, hats off to you for being
fountain of youth.
I know.
He is some guy. 36.
Yeah, something like
he should have been done like 5 years ago now.
A gazillion rushing yards. So yeah, hats off to you, Frank Gore.
Yeah. And we're going to go from one New York basket case to another New York basket case.
I am, yeah. You're talking about Gang Blue. I'm jumping over to Gang Green. So the 50th anniversary of Monday Night Football. Browns at the Giants. They decided to put that on the roster again for week 2. So it coincided with the anniversary of the first year of it. Actually worked out quite well if you think about the trajectory of the teams, what was meant to happen in the pre-season. The Browns were going to be on the rebound. This was going to be their year. They had a complete meltdown in week 1, so it gave them an opportunity to come back and, big Monday night game. Are they going to be able to fight back? The world sort of conspired against the Jets in terms of injuries, and they were massively depleted. So Darnold was ruled out early because he's got glandular fever. Don't reckon he's going to be back until week 5 at the earliest. CJ Mosley got injured in week 1, so he wasn't going to be in the field. Quinnen Williams was ruled out on Saturday a couple of days before. It was just like, oh my god, people are falling left, right and centre.
There's questions over Lev Bell as well.
Yes, who still pitched up and got 31 touches. So the Giants, no,
the Jets.
The Jets totally had to lean on him because they didn't have a lot else. But Trevor Siemian got wrecked halfway through the game, or third quarter.
He only got 6 snaps.
6
attempts. Sorry,
yes.
6 attempts.
No, because that's a stat in this that I've seen. The first half quarterback performance combined, 4 completions for 4 yards from the Jets. Oh, that's disgusting.
Trevor Siemian wasn't good anywhere, so why anyone would think...
They gave him a chance. He's basically broke his leg or busted his ankle or something. He's now on IR, isn't he?
He broke his ankle but still walked off the field.
Hey, get over it. Well, that's fair enough then. I'll give him credit for that.
Tough guy, just can't throw football.
Yeah, just pray.
It's important in your job, right? Yeah. And they brought in Luke Falk, who was a 4th round pick, I think.
No, he was the 199th pick, which means that when they go to Foxborough next weekend,
there will be, I love this one,
2 199th pick quarterbacks starting that game.
Wow.
Picked 18 years apart.
Wow.
And if the rookie can be half as good as the other one, then the Jets are sorted.
It's a big if.
He got activated 8 hours before the game. He was on the practice roster. It's just, I feel so sorry for the Jets.
Also, they look good as well, I think, like on paper. Like they look like they should
paper,
be.
Yeah, so I can't actually remember off the top of my hand where we had them going division-wise, but we had
second.
thought, with the second, they were the ones most likely to challenge the Patriots, albeit you knew they weren't going to challenge for long, they were going to at least give it a go. That has totally flipped within 2 weeks. We know it's now the Bills. The Bills are going to push them, because I think the Bills go to Cincinnati this weekend, so they could be rolling in 3-0. It's whether the Patriots can get all 16, which looks highly likely at the minute, but by the by. The other 2, you can write them off already. I think the Jets could be sitting 0-7 based on their schedule of what they've got coming up.
They've been really unlucky with what's happened.
Yeah.
They have, and with the sort of combustible coaches, do you think them having this sort of luck early on could lead to more of a meltdown, or do you think they'll keep it together?
No, I'm not worried about that. I think they'll know the situation they're in, right? They're not going to be surprised. I think you actually also seen, if I remember rightly, Tremaine Johnson got dropped for being crap.
Well, I was about to pick that up because, he wasn't so great in week 1.
Yep.
How many snaps he got in this game? Don't guess. He's a 15 million quarterback. He was your big free 50%? Agent acquisition. So you think about 50. Andrew, got an idea?
I have no idea, so I'll just let you read the stats. 4 snaps.
6% of the defensive snaps he was on the field for. That is now, and they talked about actually this on the commentary. I watched up to nearly half time, and it was mentioned in quarter 2 about he's obviously not done. Greg Williams is a guy that if you do what he asks him to, he will back you 100%. If there's any deviation from that plan, he'll freeze you out. So. Don't know what's happened to Johnson, don't know why.
Because he dropped Adams for a couple of snaps as well, didn't he?
5. He had 5 snaps off from an incorrect decision, basically. He tried to have a gamble. I'm not against that.
But we spoke about that last week and with Josh Norman as well. In that position, if you gamble incorrectly, you're in trouble. You predominantly cause either a major yard play or a touchdown because there's no one behind you to rectify it. So... I guess that's...
So Johnson looks in trouble. I mean, 4 snaps. He was active. It wasn't like he was just sitting on the sidelines doing nothing.
I'm not opposed to that. I compared it to the Redskins. Josh Norman should be dropped. That's a fact for us. He's god-awful. He's targeted.
Did you see the thing I dropped in about how Dak deliberately slowed down just a stiff arm him into the ground?
Teams are targeting Josh Norman over...
He's going to have a poor season, I can tell now.
Yeah.
Flip to the offensive side, the Browns' offense was okay. It wasn't completely 100%, like towards the tail end of last year, but they definitely found their rhythm. OBJ had a bit of a baller game, 161 yards, touchdown.
That one-handed catch. It was
disgustingly
outrageous.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that it was a one-handed catch.
It was over the shoulder, he was balanced on the side.
There was defensive pass interference on that as well. He should not have been catching it.
He looks like he's quite enjoying his football in Cleveland, I think, which just, he's a total confidence type guy, and I think if you've got that with him, he knows he can just be not the prima donna, but he's got that, the ballsy side of that. He can be that guy, and he'll get backed by the team. So Cleveland look like they're trending up. Jets really look like they're trending down. So that's the sort of three games we're going to focus on. Flipping over to the players, I'm going to stay in the same game. One player who I didn't mention, talking about the game, on defensive side for Cleveland, Myles Garrett. 3 sacks, basically broke that game in half. The type of performance that you expect Aaron Donald to have on a nearly weekly basis, and has done for the last 3 seasons, and then before that it was maybe JJ Watt for the last 3 seasons prior. Garrett had one of those games on Monday. He had 3 sacks. He actually had another one that was taken off the board. He got done for roughing the passer, which I thought was a bit harsh, but he landed on the passer, and you know how they're really woozy about that now. Just instantly flag goes out. So he should realistically have had a 4th.
Yeah, the Broncos suffered from the same sort of thing right at the end of their game against the Bears. They were called for one of them. If they hadn't have been called for that, they would probably have won the game because it would have stopped the Bears getting into field goal range. But it's a bit of a...
It's hard, isn't it? What you meant to do, dive out of the way after you've touched them?
It's basically saying you can't tackle.
Yeah. Or if you do, you just have to make sure you
have to make sure
swing,
you hit the ground
swing your
first.
body weight round so you can get them down, but make sure you land on the ground first or something.
Yeah,
it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's a bit of nonsense. I don't like it.
I get because of it, the Bears are 1-1 and not 0-2 as they should be.
Myles Garrett, he's kind of, he was the first overall pick, and he has displayed good flashes, and he's done okay in his first couple of seasons. I almost feel, and it's probably a product of getting somebody like Vernon on the other side just to distract, having the back end with Denzel Ward really entrenched there, that Garrett now has maybe a bit more freedom. This could be his year. I think he's going to make a real good push for possibly challenging that sack record, but definitely getting in the hunt of that Defensive Player of the Year conversation. So keep an eye on him for the next few
Who have
years.
the Browns got this weekend, do you remember?
Browns have, not on top of the head, but I will be able to find it very quickly. Oh yes, the Sunday night game at home to LA. Ouch.
Rams, presumably.
Rams, sorry, yes, LA, of course, because the Chargers do not live in San Diego anymore, Steve. That's been about 3 seasons now. It's about time you get that in your head. Yes, the
2
Rams.
stuttering offences.
Yeah, but the Rams' O-line is still pretty sneaky good, so he may struggle a little bit. But it's in Cleveland, so whether they get a bounce off the victory that they had on Monday night, don't know.
Maybe.
So Garrett and Aaron Donald on the same field, that's some nasty players there.
That's going to be
Fun.
Gavatron, you've pretty
Kirk
much already
Cousins.
covered.
Who's
Yeah.
rubbish.
Anything else you want to add on it? No, just we hate Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I'm all out on him.
All out on him.
All out on him.
Yeah. This section isn't going to be as much for players that we think we want to talk about in a negative connotation as much as positive.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be, this guy is brilliant, he deserves plaudit.
I think
You've quite rightly picked, the possibly the beginning of the end for Kirk Cousins. You never know.
It's just that triple coverage play that I'll never ever get over.
It was pretty disgusting. How many passes was it again? 14 completions out of 32?
Yep.
I mean, that's like 40-odd% or something.
Yeah.
Low 40s. That's
outrageously
disgusting.
bad.
And he's got, again, mentioned that Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, who are both really good receivers.
Yeah. And he just can't get to them. What is going on?
Yeah.
Bad decisions. That's what it is. But anyway, Kirk Cousins boo.
So from a quarterback who is on bad decisions and is getting slated to an unheralded quarterback.
Last week I spoke about a rookie quarterback, and this week I'm going to speak about a rookie quarterback. But this one, I'm going to run out of rookie quarterbacks to speak about soon.
Not the way they're dropping like flies this season. Next week, watch out for the Luke Falk update.
So I'm going to speak about Gardner Minshew, who's obviously been thrusted into the limelight in Jacksonville. after Foles broke his collarbone. So he was picked up in the 6th round by Jacksonville, pick number 178. Came in fairly early in week 1 and he's looked decent, it has to be said.
Is that the moustache?
No, I was going to say physically.
Right,
let's talk about physical appearance first before the game.
In every sense, he's looked decent.
Did you see him swagging off the plane in that pimp outfit?
What was it?
Amazing.
A shiny silver shirt.
And almost
open
pink.
chested.
Pink or
some
deep
bright
red
suit.
or something. I mean, it had
The
everything.
70s porno touch.
That's what I live for.
I don't know if he was doing it as a bet. You know how like your Cardinals for all or nothing. You always talk about Pat P.
Lost the bet with
and it's
Palmer and who was the other quarterback? Drew Stanton.
Yeah.
Who would do the bucket challenge, and whoever lost had to wear something ridiculous the next week. So you don't know if it's maybe that, but
I'm hoping it's not.
yeah, that's maybe him. Well,
But
what was the tweet that came out about
like
him
a
in
guy.
the locker room?
He looks like a guy.
In the jockstrap.
Yeah, pretty good. Doing his warm up in just the jockstrap.
Yeah.
In the full locker room, in front of everyone, the media, he just does not care.
Yeah.
I love it.
This is a guy that is comfortable in his own skin.
Oh, 100%.
And for someone to be then starting as a quarterback, that's huge because he's clearly got a massive amount of confidence in himself already, which is a great place to start from. Is that he backs himself. And looking at the numbers, so across the 2 games so far, he's 45 completions from 58 attempts, 77.6% completion rate. He's thrown 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 244 yards, and an overall passing rating of 111.8, which is very, very good. So yeah, I think he was worth a shout out. The way that he's come in and dealt with being thrown in.
The problem for him has been that Fournette's not been very good.
Yeah.
So they can't get a balance between the run game and his pass game because his passing's really good, as you've already suggested, and he's putting it into good positions for his wide receivers. But you need balance. You need both if you're going to be successful, and that's
because as the weeks develop and more game tape comes out from him, teams are going to be able to figure out how to beat him. And if he doesn't have Fournette to help offset him, he's slowly going to dwindle as the season goes on. Only in terms of because the teams will scheme against him, not him. I think he's got the utmost belief he will just walk in every week and it won't matter. Actually quite good for Jacksonville because they're really worried for them when Foles went down. You thought, well, that's
still worried for them because they're an awful football team.
Yeah, but we're not worried about them as in like Miami Dolphins level worried.
No,
there is definitely a clear scale where they can't be that bad.
I mean, they are still 0-2 though. They have the Tennessee Titans this week, so they'll probably go to 0-3 because the Titans look alright.
Yeah. And it's a Thursday game, it's a short week.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So that's even more. Yeah. So
worrying.
But yeah, he's looked decent and. Probably going to be a bright spot for the Jags this year.
Yeah.
Thoroughly deserved shout out, yeah.
Yep. All in on him, all out on Kirk Cousins.
So as we said we were going to discuss earlier, we will move on to our predictions. Last week Steve got 1 of the 3 right, I got 2 of the 3 right, and Gav didn't partake.
Well, how many did you get, Gav?
Twice.
Gav
3 out of 3.
All 3. So we had Colts at the Titans, which was won by the Titans, Vikings at Packers, which as we discussed already was won by the Packers, and Saints at the Rams, which was won by the Rams. This week, first game that we're going to predict, Raiders at Vikings. Steve, who are you going with?
I don't know. It's head versus heart, really, this one. I want Oakland to go in there and cause havoc. Vikings at home, aren't they? Yes.
Yeah.
I want Oakland to go in there and cause some major havoc. I just don't know whether the beatdown that they got in the beginning of the game against the Packers, not so much because it kind of rebounded at the end, will be enough to drive them because they're now like, wait, we've just lost to the Packers, the division's now in jeopardy, we really need to fight back and fight back.
Then you get a big bounce back from the Vikings.
I don't know, I'm going to stick with Oakland, sod it, right? I'm going to stick with them. The Raiders played 3 out of 4 quarters spectacularly last week.
Yeah.
They only got outdone by absolute magicianship 15 minutes of 270 yards and 4 touchdowns from Mahomes in 1 quarter. I mean, it was ludicrous what he did. Had they just managed to throttle him for part of that quarter, do you know, they were giving them a real good fight. It was
so they were undone by the best quarterback in the league at the moment?
Oh, easy, yes.
Yeah.
He's the passing leader already. He will be, I said at the beginning, it probably will be him for MVP.
Yeah.
He's
reigning
shown
MVP.
no
It looks
reason.
like he'll be it again this year.
It's just
so
fun.
they should be able to contain Kirk Cousins a little bit better.
Well, yes. The only risk is
Dalvin
Adams. Is Adams not out? No, Abraham. Sorry, Jonathan Abraham.
John Abrams out, yeah.
He's out now. Yeah, he's injured. So that's a bit of a shame because he was actually quite a bit of a fun star on Hard Knocks. So.
I was just about to say that we all know from Hard Knocks that he's such an intellect.
Mouthy guy.
Anyway.
We'll give him that.
Not the type of guy you want to share a locker room with, I think.
Oh.
But anyway.
Yeah. But good guy to have in the field. Sparks that defense. I think you lose somebody like that, so we'll see how they go. But I'm going to go with Oakland. I want them to win. It's not so much whether I think they will. I'm already in last place in it anyway, so why not?
I've also gone with the Raiders.
Oh yes, I'm not alone.
Just
We're going to fail together.
Well, just because I don't really rate the Vikings all that much, and
Josh Jacobs has actually played really well
He's
the
been
first
good.
2 weeks.
He has,
He's
yeah.
so glad he's my only fantasy player I feel is actually performing anything worth what I picked them at.
So I'm going Raiders, Steve has gone Raiders, and Gav, you are going
Vikings.
Oh, he's going. He's going for the 6.
Yeah.
He's going to get them all right again.
I'm saying that this is a get-right game for the Vikings at home, and I think you'll see a whole bunch of Dalvin Cook. I think they'll just run straight at the Raiders' defence and
Go back to what they did in week 1,
Yes.
where don't give Cousins the ball, basically.
Yes.
Was he had 10 passing attempts
Yep.
in week 1?
Yep.
Stinky.
Yep. So, and I think that the Raiders probably don't have enough on offence to get by the Vikings' D. So, yep, Vikes.
Mm-hmm. Second game we're going for this week is the Ravens at the Chiefs.
Ooh,
Both teams are 2-0. Both have had a
spicy.
great start. It's probably the 2 on-form quarterbacks in the league right now.
Yep.
Where are you going with this one, Gav?
Chiefs.
But why? I'm with you.
I want to
I'm
say the
going
Ravens because
I know.
I really like Lamar Jackson. I like what they're doing there. I like that they've had a plan and they've been executing that plan, but the Chiefs are just too good overall.
Their defense is really kind of coming
This
together.
is going to be a shootout though.
I
This is
think
going to be
that's
like 32-28, something like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be, really good and fun to watch. So
it's more a case of that.
Football wins this game. That's who wins this one.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be as mental as the Monday night game against the Rams last year, is it?
Could
There
be.
was probably
It could
no
be.
defense on that,
Well,
really.
The Chiefs' defense is still suspect, but I
Still
think
better than it was last year, isn't it?
I was just going to say I think they'll be better at containing Jackson in the pocket, and I think teams that have given them the option to do both have suffered. So,
Yeah.
but the Chiefs' secondary is still pretty crap.
So the Lamar Jackson's run game was kind of missing in week 1, but I think because he didn't have to do it. Yeah, I think they
Why
played
risk
the
it?
Dolphins so well. It came back to 4 last week. He had 120 yards off only like 8 carries or something stupid like that. I don't think the Chiefs are going to give him that though. I think they're just going to keep him in and they're going to make them beat him through the air.
And that's not.
And it's not it's not terrible now. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, I think that's not as easy as it maybe was last year. But yeah, I'm going to say the Chiefs in a close game. That's going to be really fun to watch.
I'm with you as well, but it's as much because I think it's the Chiefs' offense. It's just too good. Baltimore's never really put up a stinky bad defense. They're always going to be in the
they're
mix,
there and about.
but not against this Chiefs offense. It's just going to be brutal.
I've also gone Chiefs because all the things that's been discussed already.
I don't want to, but it is. We're deliberately. We're not picking games that are going to obviously be one-sided, and that's not. You can quite easily. It will not be
You
a
can
surprise.
argue for the Ravens to win.
Easy, and it will not be a surprise if we come in and see next Monday morning the Ravens have won. Actually, be like, do you know what? Yeah, fair play.
Yeah. And the third and final game that we're going to try and predict this week is the Panthers at the Cardinals. I will kick this off, and
Panthers
I
at the Cardinals.
feel I'm duty bound to say that I think the Cardinals are going to win this. But no, I genuinely do think that the Cardinals
No
are going to win
caveat around if Cam plays or not.
this. Regardless of whether he plays, I think the Cardinals win this.
It's a big difference in the game if he plays.
Is it? Well,
Well, it's not as clear a one-way win. If Cam doesn't play, the Cardinals win that easy.
Oh right, you mean okay, right? I see what you mean now. Sorry, yes. I'm assuming right. Let's go assuming he plays. Okay, we'll do it on that basis.
But if he doesn't play, your pick still stands. So.
Yes, that's relevant. Yeah, I know what you mean. So it's relevant. I'm going to side with you. I think out of these two, I think Arizona will.
So for me, I think that two things that are going to stand out to me here. So I still love the Arizona D at the moment. I love the D.
Here we go. You're just waiting for it. Tear it up. It's like take that.
Oh dear.
Pitch it.
Oh dear.
Andrew loves the. That's all I heard.
Although there is obviously the massive risk that CMC could have a field day because he is one of the best, possibly the best all-round back in the league in terms of his impact on the passing game as well.
Last week's performance.
Not in last
He
week's.
had a really
at all.
bad week.
He
Yeah,
did.
Tampa Bay properly. So really, they just need to bring out the same game plan in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay deployed on defense. Contains CMC. Cam's ankle is scoobied. Even if he plays, he's not moving. He's not running. They're not calling the running plays. He's had the lowest 2 weeks ever that he's ever done. There is the whole outside. People are speculating. Is he done in the head? Is he like Andrew Luck? Does he want to do it anymore?
Too busy looking like a granny.
Some ridiculous outfits he comes out with. I mean, Minshew. We were complimenting his dress sense because he wore it with pride and
Swagger.
he quite enjoyed it. Yeah, a bit of swagger. Cam just seems to do it.
Like he was going down the shops as a granny. That's what
Yeah.
he looked like.
What is he doing? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
He would
He's
not
focusing
have
on the
looked-
wrong thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't have looked out of place if he had paired it with a Zimmer frame.
One of those shopping
Focus on the
trolleys.
thing that he should be doing, which is passing the ball. He's not doing that well.
The other big thing in this game, I expect to see the Cardinals actually try and establish the run earlier in this one, get David Johnson involved, and since Gav has traded him to me in fantasy, hopefully he explodes from here on in.
Even if he does, I couldn't deal with that pain anymore. I was hurting me too much watching the Cardinals and just not get
use him. It's been
in
a
obvious
strange game
situations.
plan.
I said it last week as well, but they had a first and goal, and 3 times they threw it on like the 2 yard line.
So far this season, I think Cardinals have had 8 red zone trips and only got into the end zone twice.
And you're just
Sure.
and you've got
You're going to struggle in your season.
you've got a top tier running back that you're just not giving the ball to. That it was just too frustrating for me. I couldn't handle it.
But Kingsbury seemed to realise that in the press conference afterwards, so hopefully
But
that's
then
a sign
he
that-
realised that he should have
In
realised
week
that.
one.
Yeah.
I know, he should have
But he
realised
got to the
but-
last quarter and he gave DJ
Yes.
the ball and they fought back to end up with the tie. You thought that was it.
Yeah,
'Cause I
yeah.
came out after week 1 saying, I kind of had to make adjustments in game because I realised I was doing the wrong thing.
But then I'd done the same thing again week 2.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on?
And then what happens? You do week 3? You fall behind, and then you can't put them in the game because you have to chase the game.
start
Yeah,
throwing.
and that's been the excuse in the first 2 games, is that they've fallen behind and then have had to throw the ball. So it's like 75% of plays have been pass plays, which is high.
Very
I
high.
do have
But
one
yeah.
one worry from a Cardinals point of view. So they play 4 wide receiver set pretty much every time.
Yeah.
I worry about the contact that Johnson might be exposed to with the lack of blocking, and he's already had that wrist injury which he missed some snaps for, so I worry about that as a long-term prospect for him as well. Just if that's the way they play,
Yeah.
he's not got the protection there. So, but yeah, to the point of this game, Cardinals win this.
So we're unanimous on that, so that doesn't make for great competition, but that's fine.
I can't think of any way on how the Panthers win it, even if Cam is fully healthy.
Wow.
I mean, obviously there is ways, right? But not ones that I feel sound right in my head.
Yeah. Okay. I think so. We're all unanimous on the Chiefs and the Cardinals winning their games, and Steve and I think Raiders. Gav thinks Vikings. So we'll see where the
See you
difference
next
is.
week, whether I'm probably still sitting on 1.
So
Gav's
either
sitting there on 6 and the season's already over. Just like my fantasy season.
either Gav will be 2 ahead, or Gav and I will be tied.
Steve, you're cut from the team.
Right. Any more for any more, or will we call it quits this time?
None today.
Cool. So, Gavin, will sign off?
Goodbye.
So short and to the point. Andrew, I'm going to leave you to the end because you're actually quite good at the social roundup, which I think we missed last week. All that's left for me to say, I think, is thank you again. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff that we like people to do.
And you can find us at the AFcast on Twitter, search the American Fitbaw Cast on Facebook, and we will speak to you again next week.
You've been listening to another great podcast from the Fair City Podcast Network, a group dedicated to connecting and developing podcasts. Check out fcpod.net for more great podcasts and content.